All right, so welcome to Jana, the Diamond Ambassador, and you guys are all probably familiar a little bit with her story as her Diamond documentary just came out a few days ago. So we are so excited to have you on our team call, and I will let you run with it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for asking me, Nicole. I really appreciate it. And I am excited to just share my story with you guys just for a few minutes and then give you guys some tips. So my story, well, I feel funny because you guys did just watch my Diamond documentary, so you kind of know my story. So it's kind of fun that it's kind of out there, but my story really goes back to 2013. I tell everybody, really, it goes back to the very first of that year. And just like everybody else, I sat down the first of that year with some goals in mind, made those New Year's resolutions. And of course, just like everybody else usually, one of those was to lose weight. So I started off, I won't go into detail, but I had tried everything. And when I say everything, I meant everything. You know, I tell everybody I was the queen of Weight Watchers. I had joined so many times and quit. And, you know, I kind of laughed that every time I would walk in there, they would be like, Jana's back. Jana's decided to come join us again. So this time around, I thought, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it this time. I'm just going to lose the weight, you know, and I got an app on my phone and I was working hard and it was just coming off so slowly. I was somewhat sticking with it, but I mean, it was painful. It was coming off so slowly. And I had about 40 pounds I needed to lose. So I decided, well, so I was sticking with it, like I said. And one day my parents came home from a trip they had been on, and they were telling us about some friends of theirs in Florida who had both lost like 50 pounds each, and they were both driving a brand new Lexus that this company that they were with was paying for. Well, honestly, the whole Lexus thing just really went over my head. I really didn't care about that. That wasn't on my radar, even though we needed it. We desperately needed it financially, but still didn't believe any of these kind of things really worked. So I just wanted to know what they were doing to lose weight. So it's kind of funny though. My mom was one of those, she was really skeptical of it. She was nervous about us taking a product, and all she could think about was, you know, back in the 80s, the whole, like the Dexatrim days, you know, and those kind of products. And she was worried, and she told me and my sister, don't you guys get on anything like that though. I don't want you guys to, you know, to hurt your bodies or do anything like that. So we joked that as soon as she left, we're such obedient children, that as soon as she left, we were on the computer trying to figure out what this product was. You know, we were like typing fast and furious to try to figure out what this stuff was, because they couldn't even remember the name of it. So we found out that the product was Plexus, and we were actually so skeptical that our first order, and I say our because we made one order, I made it and Amber split it with me, my sister, who's a Diamond as well now. We split our first order, and guys, it was for a 7-day trial pack. That's it for both of us. So I laughed because it was like, oh, I guess we were expecting miracles out of 3.5 days, you know, the 3.5 days that we were each going to get. So we got the product in the mail, and like I said, I was so skeptical. I put it in my purse and texted my sister and said, oh my gosh, it's in my purse. I think I just dropped 10 pounds, you know, being pretty sarcastic about the whole thing. I did not think this stuff was going to work. Long story short, health-wise, it was just the tool that I needed, and I like to word it that way so everybody realizes it really was a tool for me. But it was exactly what I needed to drop the weight and actually help me with a lot of other health issues that were kind of underlying health issues that I didn't even realize, some of them I didn't even realize was a big problem in my life. And you know how when you get healthy and you get well, you realize, oh my goodness, I didn't realize I wasn't supposed to feel that way. I didn't realize I wasn't supposed to be run down all the time. I just thought I was a mom of 3 and I was supposed to feel that way. So the products, I mean, you guys can tell from my Diamond documentary too, I love our products. I'm in love with them. They helped me radically change my health. I've seen them do the same for my husband and for different issues with my children. And, you know, my dad is down from 8 blood pressure pills to 2 a day. My grandpa's off his cholesterol medications. You know, when you start having stories like that of people that you love, then it actually makes it easier and easier to share what we have. So loved the products. I was on the products for like 6 months as a customer. Isn't that sad? I just said as a customer for that long. And ended up going ahead and signing up as an ambassador only to get the discount. So do not ever write off anybody that signs up with you just to get that discount, because a while back there was a survey going around with all the jewels, and it was close. It was like over, I want to say it was a little over 90% of the jewels signed up just to get the discount. So don't ever discount, write off those people, because you don't know what you have there. Your biggest thing you can help them do is to help them fall in love with our products. Along the way, let them know what this business is doing as well. And then the light bulb will go off for them. So I decided to sign up as an ambassador in September of 2013 is when I signed up. And my sponsor is named Sunday Anderson. Like I said, her diamond documentary will be coming out here in a couple weeks. And I've known her all my life, since I was in elementary school. And so she added me to Team Pages. So there's another tip for you. I'm going to try to just kind of interject some tips along the way with my story. One thing we train our team to do is to add everybody to your team page. So I, every single person I sign up, I add them to a team page. And here's a little tip as well. I don't ask them. I signed up 2 new ambassadors last month. Both of them, after they signed up, I said, hey, Julie, so excited for you to get started. Your products are on their way to you, and I'm now going to be adding you to my team page. It is a place where we post a lot of product information, and we also post some business information as well. So that way, if your mom or your sister or your friend decides that they want to buy from you, you'll have a little bit of the business information as well. But, we'll also pass along a lot of product information to you. So on your team pages, if you're not doing that, I want to really encourage you to do that, to post product information, testimonies, things like that, because that is what's going to keep your wholesale ambassadors. And I actually don't like the term wholesale ambassadors. I'll tell you why. But for lack of better terms, the people that are just in it for the discount, that is what will keep them engaged, is when you post product information, when you post testimonies, because you have to remember that's why they joined. And so along the way, though, you want a good combination of product information, testimonies, and business information. So that's part of my story. Sunday, I'm going to tell you real quick, too, why I don't like the term wholesale ambassadors. I think that people become what you tell them they are. So if you actually use the terminology wholesale ambassadors to people, that's what they'll be to you. That's all they'll ever be to you, is they'll somewhere in the back of their mind, it will be implanted that they are a wholesale ambassador, and that's all they will ever be. That term was not around when I signed up. I don't know where it came from or how it came along, but I was never ever called a wholesale ambassador. I never saw it posted on pages, but it is what I was. I just didn't know it. So I would just be careful using that term. I think it's fine on calls like this when it's everybody who is working the business, but be careful about calling that using that term with your people who did just sign up for the discount. So I signed up. Sunday added me to her team page, and to multiple team pages, actually. At first, I was a little annoyed. I was like, what in the world has she done to me? My Facebook is blowing up with these people that I don't know posting on these pages that I don't know what they are. And so the first little bit, I just totally ignored them. I would just scroll. And then several things started catching my eye. I'll tell you what caught my eye. When they would give shout outs to people, when they would talk about their top people, top PV. I didn't even know what PV was. I honestly had no idea what it was. I just know these people were getting shout outs and everybody was cheering for them. The other thing that caught my attention was contests, and not even big contests necessarily, but just contests. I have enough of a drive in me, and I'm I don't like to lose. I want to win. I've got a lot of competitiveness in me. Oops, my earbud's falling out. And so those contests were interesting to me, and they definitely caught my attention. And once I realized I knew just enough business knowledge, just from seeing things on the team page, that I thought, I think I could get entered in some of these contests. So that's another reason I actually like contests, and you will hear different opinions on this when it comes to different jewels. But because of my story, if there had never been some of those contests, just personal contests that my sponsor had run and her sponsor had run on her team page, I don't know that I would have ever jumped into the business. And here's why. I was, again, for lack of better terms, just a wholesale ambassador. So I wasn't going to take the time for someone to sit down with me and show me the compensation plan, right? I'm just in it for the discount. So I had no idea the money that was to be made with Plexus. I had no idea. I figured people were maybe making a few $100 a month, and that's it. So then you throw these contests out there that you're like, hey, you can win $50 gift card. I'm like, heck yeah, I can. All right, I can do this. Oh my goodness, guys, my earbuds keep falling out. I think I could get some nicer earbuds. I don't know why I don't. I still keep using these even though they fall out every call. Okay, next time. So that was one thing. And so I love doing contests on my team pages. I try to do sometimes just really, really simple ones that anybody can get plugged into and hopefully win. And then I'll do, harder ones for my leaders as well. But I love contests because it is really one of the things that attracted me. And I love, love, love to praise my team as well. So make sure on your pages and when you're growing a team that you are doing that. It's so vital. And it made it in my Diamond documentary. But one of the things I do preach all the time is that people will work harder for praises over raises. So make sure that you're letting them know for everything they do. They post it on Facebook for the first time, or they got their first customer, or it was the first time to have $500 in PV. Whatever it is, make sure you're praising them and doing it publicly. I think that's important as well. They like that, and who doesn't? Honestly, we all like that, right? So one day I was in that wholesale ambassador again for about, I don't know, at this point it had been about 2 months. Seen a lot of stuff on those team pages start to come through that really interested me. And I called Sunday up and I said, meet me at Starbucks and just tell me a little bit more. Called my sister, said, I'm meeting at Starbucks with Sunday. She said, well, I'm coming too. So my sister at this point had been on our products. She's one of those that I like to tell you too. I tell everybody to give me 90 days. When I sign up somebody, I really try to get a verbal commitment out of them that they will stick with me for 90 days. They don't always, but I do try to get that up front. And one of the reasons is because of my sister's experience. She was in it it was a little over 6 weeks before she started seeing any positive results on our products. And she was ready to throw in the towel. She was ready to give up. I was seeing great results. But Amber also realized Amber's got a thyroid issue that she was having to work around and having to work with. And so just another reason why I tell people that, and I'll use her story as an example, and she's had excellent results since then, health-wise, with a lot of her health issues. So Amber and I met Sunday at that Starbucks that night, and we sat down, and honestly, she was fairly new to this whole thing too, and all she did was explain the compensation plan. So I'm giving you lots of just my opinions tonight. So I just want to, kind of tell you, I love to hear different jewels, hear what works for them. So tonight I'm just sharing with you what works for me and what's worked for our team. I never do a training with a new ambassador that I don't explain the compensation plan. And you will hear a lot of ambassadors say they don't do that. They just train them on how to get going. And then as they're going, like say they get the first paycheck, then they'll sit down with them and break it down and say, well, this is why you got paid this, and this is why you got paid that. And I love that. But when I sat down that night with Sunday and Sunday explained the compensation plan, no, I did not get everything. I did not understand everything that night. But I understood enough to know that I wanted to do this. I understood enough to know that there was some serious money to be made. I already loved the products. I had the drive in me. I'm an all or nothing kind of girl. So I was just like, I'm kind of one of those people, and I guarantee you have people on your team like this too. And if you do have people like this on your team, you want to let them know how we get paid. I'm a type of person that I'm all or nothing. So I'm either going to jump in both feet and I'm going to go straight to the top, and I will do it. I'll make it happen, or I just won't do it. So when I heard the compensation plan, that was all I needed. That was what I needed to know. So, I mean, I obviously needed to know a few other little things, like what do I do after people start asking me about this? You know, that came. But that night really made an impact on me. And I left Starbucks, came home, told my husband that, hey, I think I'm going to do this. You know that I'm already having huge success with these products, and I think I'm going to do this. And of course, he looked at me and was like, well, how much is it going to cost us? Because I've been into a few of the other of these network marketing companies before that cost us thousands of dollars. And I said, I'm already signed up. I said, I don't think I have to spend anything else. So he was like, okay, as long as we're not spending anything else. So that's where I got to back up a little bit and just share you a little bit with you a little bit of my story, just to kind of tell you where we were. So this was 2013, and my husband had been a police officer at that time for about 10 years. I guess that's about right. And we had 3 daughters. And we were at a place where we were most definitely living paycheck to paycheck. We had been for a long, long time, and did not see any end in sight. We still live in the same home that we did back then. We're still trying to figure out where God wants us now in our home. But, you know, I can remember back then just this home, just our modest home that we had, like, oh my goodness, how are we going to pay for this house? What are we going to do? We were just very financially strapped. My husband, as a police officer, had the opportunity to work a lot of part-time jobs. So, you know, part-time jobs for police officers, when we say part-times, we mean, I always have to explain it a little bit, because unless you've ever been in the law enforcement world, you don't know what it is. Well, sometimes you do, but when you see police officers sitting at the bank, or you see them sitting at the movie theater, or you see them at apartment complexes, those guys have already worked their 40-hour shift, and then they're working part-time jobs on top of it. So my husband, in my video, and I don't even know why I did this, I said 60 to 65 hours, but we've done the math before. He was every single week working almost 70 hours a week, every week. I mean, he had his regular part-times. He worked the bank one full day on his day off. He worked apartment complexes one full night. He worked, there was a grocery store that he worked. So this was all on top of his 40-hour shift. So that was hard. I mean, as you can imagine how hard that is on a marriage, on just on a family. And Steve missed a lot of stuff with our family. He missed a lot of family dinners. He missed a lot of ball games, and he didn't want to miss them. You know, don't get me wrong. He wanted to be here, but he did what he had to do for our family. So we loved our life. He loved being a police officer. He still loves being a police officer. He just left to go work. Still works his 40-hour shift because he feels like it's a calling on his life. So loved his job, loved serving his community, and he's so great at what he does. I love the fact that I was really able to be the mom that I wanted to be. I was home the majority of the time. I did work for my dad one day a week, but the rest of the time I was able to be home with our kids. And like I mentioned in my Diamond documentary as well, we had them in a school that was such a good fit for us, and it was what we've been praying for and we needed, but we didn't know how we were going to keep them there. So even though we loved so many things about our life, we really, really knew something needed to change. We had been praying and praying for something, for a breakthrough, for something to happen for us. So I came home that night, not really putting those two together. You know, you pray for something, you just ask and you wish and you hope that something will come along. And then sometimes that thing comes along and you don't realize that that's the thing, you know? And so I came home, told my husband, my thought was, if I could just make $300 or $400 a month, what if I could just make $300 or $400 a month? Guys, I hope you realize that $300 or $400 a month can radically change a family. That can buy groceries for that family for the whole month, right? There's so many things that $300 or $400 make a car payment. So that was actually my goal. We had to get me a new car. It was actually used, but a new to me car. Our 10-year-old minivan had bit the dust, and we had a car payment for the first time. And so when I told my husband that I was going to do this, he said, Jana, if there's any way, maybe you could just make enough to cover our car payment. And I was like, that's it. I'm going to do that. That's my goal. I'm going to lift this burden off of his shoulders, you know? So my first full month with Plexus, I dove in. My first full month was December 2013. I worked it hard and heavy. I mean, it just became, I put blinders on. I was like, I'm doing this. First full month, I was able to make a little over $1,000. So talk about eyes being opened and realizing the possibilities. That's when it was for me. I sat there like, oh my goodness. I won't lie. I don't know that my husband was there yet. I think my husband thought, well, that's great for this month or two. Awesome. That'll come in handy, you know, pay off our Christmas debt and that'll be nice. Few months into it, his thinking started to change, and he realized that there was a lot more to this than just making that a few months. So that's really where I got my start. I was able then in, February of 2015 is when I went Emerald. Was able to go Sapphire in July of 2015, and I went Diamond this last January 2016. So obviously, I mean, goodness, oh my goodness, these earbuds. I'm going to throw them away after this call. I'm a Diamond ambassador. You would think I could get nicer earbuds, guys. I'll work on that. The dog chews them up every time. I get a new pair and the dog chews them up. So obviously it has honestly been one of the biggest blessings of our life. I mean, of our life. We still sometimes sit in shock and awe at what God has done for us and what he has done through this business of Plexus. And I tell everybody this gift of Plexus, because that's how I truly view it. I think this is a gift that we've been given, and I work my business out of that heart of gratitude for this gift that I've been given. So that's my story. Did I leave anything out, Nicole, of my story that you wanted me to share?
No, I don't think so. I think
every time I tell it, it's a little different. So I'm thinking, I know you heard when I did the other call. So I just wanted to make sure there wasn't anything.
No, not at all.
Okay. So do you know how much longer we have?
You know, it doesn't have a time up there, but it always pops up when you have about 10 minutes left. So I'll let you know when the 10-minute time comes up.
Okay. So just some tips that I wanted to give you guys. Okay. So several things, and I'm trying to think exactly what I shared on the other call, Nicole. Because
it was really about how you drop the income disclosure form.
Okay, so yes, I love our income disclosure statement. So do you guys use that statement at all? Have you guys ever used that with a potential or with anything like that? Okay, so I'm going to give you a tip that I do all the time, and I've trained my team to do. There's so many ways that you can use that income disclosure statement. Print that off. Have it handy. Make sure it's saved to your photos on your computer, saved to your photos on your phone. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? The bar graph with the income disclosure statement. Okay, that's a powerful tool that you've been given there. So here's an example of how I use it one-on-one. I met with a level 1 and her prospect not too long ago. We were sitting down, and all I had brought to this meeting was Plexus Power Tools. Are you guys on Plexus Power Tools?
Mm-hmm.
It's a great tool, all kinds of stuff on there. There's one of their forms they have that the whole front sheet is nothing but all of our products with like a little paragraph about each product. I like that one because it's all right there and it's not overwhelming. So I had that printed off because this girl was really supposedly just interested in the products, kind of like I was. And then on the back sheet that I stapled to it, the second page was our income disclosure statement. So we sat there for a long time, and I shared with her my story. I just somehow worked in there that I'm a Diamond ambassador, that my girl with me is working, Becca that was sitting there with me, she's working her way to gold. And so we just talked products, and we got her ready, and we talked options of how she could sign up. The next thing I know, just briefly, she's flipping over to, I hadn't even talked about the second page, and I planned that on purpose. She flipped the page over and she said, "You're a Diamond ambassador? Did I hear you say that right?" And I said, "Yes, I am a Diamond ambassador." So now, guess who is working the business? So here, though, you're probably in the back of your head going, but I'm not a diamond ambassador. All right. So here's how you're going to use it, though. I have used it for a long time. I have used the income disclosure statement ever since it came out, and I was not even an Emerald ambassador at the time. So actually, when that came out, I don't know. I was maybe Ruby, maybe. So what I do is, this is how I use it. I definitely would throw in there, I'm a gold ambassador or I'm a silver ambassador. And my friend Nicole, though, she's a ruby ambassador. I would work that in there. And now this is honestly how I would use it. I would say I just hung up from a call last night with my friend Jana, who's a diamond ambassador. That's how I would use it. So when I used it beforehand, I would say, oh yeah, I'm a senior gold ambassador. I can't remember if I was senior gold or ruby when that came out. And my friend Sunday, though, my friend Sunday that I've known for forever, she's a senior ruby ambassador. And my friend Alicia, who Sunday signed up under, is a diamond ambassador with Plexus. And they look at you like, seriously, like, you know these people? You really do know them? And I'm like, yeah, I know them. They're legit. It's like they're really a diamond ambassador with Plexus. So what I want you guys to realize about that income disclosure statement is, honestly, you probably have, if you're a gold ambassador with Plexus, you probably have a little bit more traction and a little bit more belief in it than even if you were a diamond. Here's why: because people look at the diamond income and they can't even fathom it. They can't even believe that it's real and that they could ever do it. Whereas the gold, when you look at the gold income, that is life-changing for families. I think gold income is like $12,000 a year. Is that right? I can't remember. I think that's about what it is. Mm-hmm. You guys realize, like, that changes a family's life. $1,000 a month, $12,000 a year is huge for a family. Huge. So that would have been, I mean, when I started making $1,000 a month, my husband was like, oh my goodness, like, okay, after a few months of making that and more, he was like, this could be it. This was our answer to prayer. So use that income disclosure statement. The other way I use it is a lot of time when I'm messaging people. So I send out lots and lots and lots of cold messages. My team, we work hard on cold messages. I saw the time thing pop up there, Nicole.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. And am I closing it out? Can I talk till we're done?
Oh, yep, absolutely.
Okay. All right. So we will, we use cold messages a lot. So you guys know what I mean by cold messages, right? Mm-hmm. Those, a lot of people they're like, cold message, what do you mean? It's just like a cold call where you're sending out those messages to people, trying to strike up a conversation. A couple tips I would give you on cold messages is that the biggest, always, hands down, biggest complaint I get from my team, they don't respond. Nobody responds. Okay, my reactions to that. They're not always going to respond. My sister posted, she leads my team page with me. She posted a day or two ago. She's like, I sent out 10 messages today. Guess how many people got back with me? 1. But she said out of that one that got back with me, when the girl gets back in town, we're going to go meet up together. And I think she's actually signed her up since then. So I'm just telling you that you can send out 30 messages and you might get 2 responses or 3 responses. And that's normal. And I'm going to give you some tips. So what I'm saying that don't let it get you down. We have actually issued challenges to our teams before, the ones that are serious, the ones to work, to this month, you're going to send out 10 cold messages a day. And then people will really look at you with big eyes because they're like, I don't know 300 people. Yes, you do. If you don't think you do, then you need to work on your list of potentials, hopefully you guys have that list and you're working off of that. You should always be adding to it. When I go to a sporting event for one of my girls and I meet a new mom, obviously my goal is just to be her friend, but she's also going to go on my potentials list to eventually share Plexus with. When I go to the dentist and my dental hygienist, I meet her for the first time. If she's new, she's going to go on my list. So these people are always going on my list, and I'm always, always looking for them on Facebook and friending them, always. So the other tip, though, that I would give you is, first of all, obviously, don't get discouraged when they don't message you back, because it doesn't take an army to build a team. You just have to have a few go-getters. So, but I can guarantee you it's going to take you reaching out to a lot of people before you find those few runners. And along the way, if you find a whole bunch of runners, then awesome, go with it. But it just doesn't always work out that way. But you're going to have to do a lot of asking, get ignored a lot, get some no's a lot before you find the right people. So just keep going, though. You will get there. But when I send cold messages, I train my team to make sure that they are closing the cold message in a way that demands a response. So think about it. Think about messages you might get from someone who is trying to sell you something. I actually get a lot of them now. I get people trying to sell me all kinds of things now. And most of the time I just ignore them. I want you to think about, though, what would get your response. So I'll tell you what gets responses. If it's especially someone that I know or have, and when I say know, I use that term loosely, but we're friends on Facebook because at some point in my life, I was an acquaintance with them even. So I know them. If I were to message somebody like that, I would say, hey, it's Jana. I hope you are doing well. I love keeping up with you on Facebook. Your little boy is so adorable. Just thinking about you this morning and wondering if you've ever given Plexus a try. I would love to tell you more about Plexus. And then this is what I'll say. I'm going to call you next Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock, or I'm going to call you tonight when I know you're home from work. That will get a response, guys. When someone thinks you're going to be calling them, it will get a response. Here's the responses you'll either get. Hey, that's not a good time. Don't call me. Then my immediate response, okay, I'll call you tomorrow night. Is that okay? Or they will say, yeah, that's fine. Call me. Or at the very least, she might turn you down for a call, but it will get a conversation going, either through if you're texting or you're Facebook messaging. You see what I'm saying? So you may not ever end up on the phone with the person, but you have a conversation going. You have been able to open the door. So there's lots of those. There's lots of different things. Think of what would demand a response. And so there's lots of things that will do it. One of my biggest, Ashley Potter, is an emerald on my team, and that's how I got her, was a cold message. I actually ended up, the only time I've ever done this, but I placed her under my mom, who was under my sister. I would never recommend that. Don't sign up as many level ones as you can. Don't build the team for anybody. I only give 2 exceptions, unless it's your mom or your husband. If it's your mom or your husband and you love them, then you can build a team for them too. But not until you're like Emerald. So that's how I signed up Ashley, though, was through a cold message. And, she was like, they needed something. They needed this. Her husband's in ministry. They had a baby at the time. She's actually pregnant with number 3 now. And in the middle, she's had kids back to back to back. And somewhere in the middle, she went Emerald. So she was a part of a cold message. That's how I reached her. And it was one of those, hey, oh my gosh, I miss you. I miss you living here. Love keeping up with your little boy. He's so cute. And have you ever thought about doing Plexus, and can I call you? And we got a conversation going. Within a few days, she was signed up, and the girl took off. So use cold messages. And so my tip on the income disclosure statement, though, is a lot of times then I'll send my cold message, and then right after that, I'll send one more message and just say, hey, I also wanted to send you this. This is our income disclosure statement. And now I'll say I'm a diamond in the company. I hate saying I'm a diamond, so I'll say something like, we're a diamond household. That's what I'll say. I just don't like it to sound braggy. So I'll say we're a diamond household. But you guys could say, I'm a gold ambassador with Plexus. My friend Nicole is a ruby. And you can always say, my friend Jana, that I just got off a call with, is a diamond ambassador with Plexus. And I'll drop that income disclosure statement. And I love using it. I know that Rachel's talked to me several times since I did that call with her, and she's used it and actually personally sponsored several people as a result of it. So I just like that because I just think it's a tool that we have that's very underutilized. Don't be afraid to use it, because when people can see that, it will open their eyes. And I'm telling you, I tell everybody that just as many people, there's so many people that need our products health-wise, right? So many people that we know, if they could get on our products, it would transform their health. You guys, there's just as many families that are struggling financially, and they are hurting financially. And, you know, sometimes the pain and the struggle that a family's going through financially is just as hard and painful as a struggle that someone's going through physically. So we have an answer for them. We have this gift that we can offer them, that if you're willing to accept it, if you're willing to go into it, and you're willing to put in the time and the effort that it takes, then you can go somewhere with this company. You can do this. And I mean, like I said, I've seen the silver income is impressive, guys. I think it's between $5,000 and $6,000 a year. That's a lot of money for people. That changes things for a lot of people. And we know how easy it is to go silver. We know that if someone wants to go silver bad enough, they can. So use that income disclosure statement. Nicole, I hope I didn't leave out anything super important that you were wanting me to cover.
No, I think, just really, I know we have a minute and 30 seconds, but just how there were 2 little messages that you would say to people that haven't taken the product, that have come off the products, and then somebody that's kind of been inactive for a while.
Yes. So I'm trying to think of what those are exactly, because I've done several of those. So when they've come off the product, a lot of times I'll send them a message saying, you started on the products, you had goals, you had things that you were wanting to reach with Plexus. How can I help you? What can I do? How can I coach you and get you a different product, get you different products or a different regimen to help you get back on your products? And so was that what you were referring to, Nicole?
Yep. And then I think you would even drop the income disclosure sheet, because a lot of times when the people come off, like 90% of the time it's financial reasons. If
yes.
It's not.
The vast majority of the time when someone quits, they won't always tell you this, but I have had so many people come back in my 3 years of doing this. And if you'll stick with it, you will too. So many times we get so discouraged when people quit, but what you don't realize is they will come back. One of my very first ambassadors came back this last week on when we did a special 10% offer. So they will come back. The majority of times when they come back, they tell me, Jana, I just financially couldn't do it at the time. But that's not what they told me way back then. I just thought they quit and wasn't having success with the products. So that was discouraging to me. So when I can tell them, hey, I can show you how to pay for your products. That's not hard. Let me show you